Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? All right, so let's get back over into Iraq. I can see already my inbox is being flooded with people asking me questions about the latest chit-chat about the budget, including a new rate for the Iraqi Dinar. Now, the interesting thing about this particular article is this. The Central Bank of Iraq has already warned people to stop paying attention to individuals who are talking about the change in the Iraqi exchange rate. That's because stating that they have no intentions of changing it for the 5 years that they spoke about. That's what they say. A quick reminder, when the Kuwait dinar was finally reinstated, 2 days prior to that, they had told the world that they were not going to reinstate the rate for quite a while, and then they did it 2 days later. Now, I'm not saying that Iraq is going to change the rate of the IQD. I'm just saying you got to understand why they won't just come out and tell you that they're going to do it. You would get a lot of speculators jumping all over the Iraqi dinar. It'd be a bad situation. So I'll repeat myself when it comes to Iraqi dinar's exchange rate. If it is in the budget, just wait and see. Don't assume. Don't go out there making videos and telling your friends that the rate is going to change for sure because they've fooled people before. You get these people out there who make money off of speculators. They buy it when the dinar is a little bit lower. They put out these rumors about a change in the rate and where it's going to go to. There's a mad dash to go buy the Iraqi dinar. They sell it when it's high. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on here, but that is the last article that the CBI said about the IQD rate change, that people were just lying and making money off of speculators. So what I'm saying to you once again is this. We don't know what's going to happen. Let's just wait till they make the announcement. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, and God knows you should be by now, head on over to our friends at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get an additional half ounce of silver. So, first things first, look at that serious face right over here on Sudini. See that? That looks like a man on a mission. Against the backdrop of the theft of the century, Al-Sudini orders the transfer of the Director General of Integrity Investigations and refers his file to the court. It says the Prime Minister decided on Sunday to transfer the Director General of Investigations in the Integrity Commission out of it due to the failure to perform his duties. In a statement received by the News Al-Sudini media office stated that the latter issued an order to transfer the Director General of Investigations to prove his negligence in the authorities' procedures related to the file of tax trust, according to the results of the relevant investigation committee. He indicated that the order also included referring the minutes of the investigation, in this case, to the competent courts to take the required legal measures. And the regulatory authorities had previously revealed that embezzlement of tax trust funds in the amount of 3.7 trillion Iraqi dinars, which has been known as the theft of the century. The Iraq judiciary issued arrest warrants against a number of accused of the theft of the century and confiscation of movable and immovable funds and the seizure of real estate belonging to them and their families. Now, with 3.7 trillion, man, that's a pretty big chunk of change. But this is common within Iraq. You know, dealing with the corruption is a hard thing to do. It's really embedded in there. Maliki's people have been linked to a lot of different types of corruption, including Maliki. So that might be why you're seeing Al-Sudini and the president, Rashid, refuse to let Maliki in as a vice president. So here we go into the talk of the town. It says the 2023 budget will be explosive and reveals the reasons for Al-Najir's resignation. Okay, we know they have a huge surplus, and they're thinking by the end of this year and the end of next year, they should have somewhere in the neighborhood of about $200 billion, that's US dollars, to do whatever it is they need to do to help rebuild Iraq. So they should have an explosive budget, and a lot of that money should go to building private sectors, building public sectors, infrastructure, hospitals, and education, not exactly in that order. It says on here, the former member of the Parliamentary Legal Committee described the federal budget for 2023 as explosive while revealing a shocking reason for the resignation of the head of the National Investment Authority. The source told the news, after changing the exchange rate, the 2023 budget is sure to be explosive, and we expect the actual revenues to reach $120 billion, equivalent to 160 trillion dinars. But the important thing is the mentality of dealing with the budget. So as you can see, it appears that they're going to change the exchange rate. I'm not expecting any huge jump in the value, but any positive step is welcomed, of course. He stressed that the importance of change in the mentality of spending in the budget and moving away from the methodology and formulating our wrong budgets. And they must be based on the higher interests of the state and the real suffering of the citizens and a vital investment in service sectors. The current form of the budget is what the Iraqi state has been accustomed to for the past 100 years. That's terrible, by the way. And we hope to change it in terms of form and content. 90% of the budget's value goes to useless expenses. That's one of the things that Al-Qademi was talking about. And they were trying to cut a lot of that out with a lot of resistance from Maliki's people. So 90% of the budget's value goes to useless expenses. 45% goes to salaries, 25% to social benefits, 15% of loan installments and interest, and 5% of subsidies. And he indicated that the 2021 budget was dreamy and unrealistic, with loans of more than 56%, and our oil revenues in 2022 by 95%. If the oil price drops to half the current price, we will be unable to pay salaries. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? Think of 2019. Goes on to say, stressing the need to develop the tax and customs sectors to enhance oil revenues. He pointed out that Iraq's need for strategic planning to develop the productive sectors and oil revenues planned for the 21st budget for 20 trillion dinars, and the non-oil revenues are 20 trillion dinars. He added the negative effect of the decision to raise the exchange rate must be addressed, and employees who receive salaries of less than 1 million have been affected, and that's not dollars, that's dinars, just so you understand, have been affected by the raising of the dollar, as well as those entitled to social assistance, stressing Iraq's need for $125 billion to complete the lagging projects. He called for structuring the state and placing power in the hands of national competencies capable of achieving, and some governors did not spend the money due to their inability to accomplish the necessity of limiting spending to vital sectors such as agriculture and industry, which need 5 years to reap the fruits of their strategic investments. So in other words, people are just screwing off the money with no real plan on how the money should be spent and used, which is exactly the type of chaos that Iraq loves if you're corrupt. He continued, the oil producing governments are suffering, and the actual expenditures of the petrodollar must be increased to address the negative effects of the projects. Previous governments failed to withhold these allocations, and education and educational infrastructures were neglected over the past years, and some recycled for the development of the region can be invested centrally. Commenting on the resignation of the head of the National Investment Committee, concluded by saying the juror had nothing to do with the investment and she did not manage the commission, but other people appointed by the former prime minister brought to certain accounts linked to the person of the prime minister. So in other words, they're already trying to, what appears like, link things to Al-Qademi as him bringing in his own people, therefore he should be the person responsible. So here we are. We are in November already. You have the rest of November and all of December to try to pass a budget for 2023. We know that the draft is going to be put forward. Can they actually pass the draft before the end of the year? That would be important. Or else, how are they going to start off the new year? Is there going to be a rate change in there? You heard the Central Bank of Iraq saying that you don't hear it from us, then it's just a rumor. It's not like we have that long to wait anyways. Those of you out there claiming that you're going to see a huge jump in the exchange rate, It's not going to happen. It's going to be in increments. At the very best, you can hope for is that it gets over to the 1,190 dinars. All right, unless something spectacular happens or corruption really sets in and they change the rate to a ridiculous amount of money, I don't see that happening. Anyways, you guys let me know what you think down below in the comments, and I will get back at you. And that's it for now. I'm out.